What's the dumbest thing you got in trouble for in school? Hiccups. I got kicked out of class for having the hiccups and sent to the principal because apparently the teacher didn't believe I actually had the hiccups and thought I was just trying to distract the class. My friend has diabetes, and when we were in school I sat next to him in class. He told me his blood sugar was really low and he felt faint. He didn't want to leave class, so I offered to give him my banana. So I gave it to him and the teacher scolded me for taking out food in class. She sent me to the principal's office even after I told her the reason for it. The principal teacher just didn't care and told me just chill here until the bell rings, lol. I'll never know why Mrs. Henderson was so angry. I had to sit in the office and have a conference with the dean and my parents, all because a girl slapped my ass. They said I had sexually harassed her. We didn't have video cameras at the time, but this dickhead didn't believe me. The girl didn't say anything to the school until 3 days later when I got suspended. Literally looking at someone. Apparently it was aggressive. Wearing shoes without laces. They were closed toe, but apparently they must also lace. I got sent home for not having laces. My school had a no touching policy, so I got in trouble for hugging my best friend in the hallway. My teacher sent me to the principal's office for saying shit. I was trying to say sit. I had a speech impediment. Wearing colored socks. I got sent to the principal's office where they called my parents and asked them to get me a pair of white socks. Needless to say, my parents were both working, so I was stuck roaming around the school sockless. In 2nd grade, a boy who didn't like me told the teacher that I was taking rocks out my pockets and throwing them at him during recess. I get brought to the principal's office and told to apologize to him, where I started crying and showed them I didn't even have pockets. I was wearing leggings. I still had to apologize. This might be common, but my high school had a very odd attendance policy. If you were late to school 3 times, you would immediately get detention. I had detention once because of this, and I decided it wasn't for me. So anytime I knew I was going to be late, I'd just skip. If you missed enough, they'd put you on a medical watch sort of thing that would require a doctor's excuse, but you had to miss a lot of school for that to happen. So senior year I spent a lot of days hanging out at home or at my friends playing Mario Kart, because the school rewarded absenteeism over tardiness. Leaving the classroom to pee, because the teacher said no. Apparently he knew my body better than I did. Should have peed over the teacher's desk as the ultimate power move. I asked how bananas reproduce. My teacher didn't find it appropriate. It was in biology class. I got in trouble for saying out loud that I didn't like someone. Her friend overheard, told our teacher, and for the next 3 days we all had to spend our recess talking about why I didn't like that person, because she makes a big deal out of silly things like this that cause everyone to miss out on recess. I told this before. High school, late 90s, we just got the internet. This was the early days of the internet where any random or innocent search could still bring up porn. Well, it happened to me. Our history class had the computer lab. Porn came up on my screen. Immediately sent to the office. They did not believe me that it was an accident, but I'd never been in trouble before. I was suspended the rest of the day. I just went home. Then it started happening to other students' teachers. Then they finally put filters on the computers, but I was never apologized to. I was kicked out of my geometry class and was given a referral that said do not return to class until a parent-teacher conference is scheduled. This all happened because I had the wrong size paper. This teacher wanted everyone to have 8.5 times 11 and I had 8 times 10.5. I kept getting 50% credit on every assignment because I had the wrong size paper. I finally told her I'm not buying all new paper because you want to be special. Our school had this stupid rule where you weren't allowed to go to the bathroom during the last 5 minutes of class. Lo and behold, we're 5 minutes away from the bell when I suddenly break out in cold sweats, and I get that dreadful rumble in my guts. It's explosive diarrhea time. I asked to go to the toilet. Denied. I just yelled emergency and ran out of class. I got to the loo, did the patented move of rolling my pants down, transition into sitting down before losing 5 pounds in 15 seconds using this one simple trick. Doctors hate this guy. Now, what makes this even stupider is that in my country, we start school at 7. We do 4 years of elementary school, 3 years of primary school, and 5 years of high school. This happened in my senior year. I was 19 years old. I was, by legal definition, a grown man. I wasn't going to shit my pants because of a stupid 5-minute rule. Given an after-school detention for whistling. I can't whistle. Skipping school. Punished by being suspended from school. Brilliant plan. Those extra hours of World of Warcraft really showed me. Similarly, I got detention for not doing my homework. In other words, I wasn't being productive enough with my time. In detention, you couldn't do anything except stare into nothingness. So when I got home, I had even less time to do homework. 2 stories. This was actually my friend. In 6th grade I was on crutches and needed to use the elevator to get between floors. The rule was that only one person can go in the elevator with the person on crutches. 2 of my friends and I were walking to the elevator when my teacher was walking the other way. He said, "Remember, only one of you two can go with him." My other friend looked at the teacher, then jumped into the elevator. As the doors opened on the bottom floor, the teacher was standing there and took him to his office and gave him a detention. Story 2. In 5th grade my friend took a pen from my desk, so I asked him, "Can I have my pen back?" and my teacher went ballistic. "Why are you talking in class?" "Oh, I was just asking for my pen back." "No you weren't, you were talking, my friend." "No, really, I took his pen and he asked for it back." That night my parents got an email saying that they needed to come in for a parent-teacher conference specifically about this incident. I had no previous incidents, so when the teacher told them this they said how outrageous it was and I got off without punishment. She's still my #1 least favorite teacher all time. Breakdancing. I was spinning on my head in between class, in the halls, and they wrote "spinning on his head" like Mitchell Jackson. My family lost it when they read the referral note. I remember mom saying he never spun on his head, did he? In my forensics class we were looking at hairs under microscopes and discussing their different traits. I raised my hand and asked where the change occurs between stomach hairs and pubic hair. My teacher flipped out and kicked me out of the class. My response was, "What's the answer to the question?" My teacher made a joke. Everyone laughed but me. As people were calming down I finally got the joke and laughed. I got detention. Coloring in the tips of my hair with pink marker. 2 other kids had dyed their hair bright purple and bright pink before and no one gave a shit. The day after I got in trouble a girl came in with blue hair. Wanna know who cared? No one. Last year in the cafeteria I was lined up to buy pizza and my vice principal was selling it. I gave my money, took my pizza and left. Later on in the day I get called into the office and he said he didn't feel respected by me because I never said please or thank you and got a 3-day suspension. When I was in primary school, I had really bad social anxiety, so my teacher allocated a small table outside the classroom where I could go if I was having a panic attack. This was somewhat effective until I got a new teacher who would send me out to the table at the slightest provocation. Fiddling with my hair, jogging my leg or smiling when I thought of something funny all got me a trip to the table. She didn't do this to anyone else. They would stand in the corner of the classroom if they got in trouble. She would also write every trip to the table in my diary as a panic attack or poor behavior, which meant my anxiety medication dosage was changed. Eventually, the system stopped working altogether, as the table was more of a punishment and being sent to it would worsen any stress I was experiencing. I walked into the showers in the locker room before gym class. Fully clothed with shoes on and everything. I had just never seen that area before. Showers weren't running. That's literally it. Got yelled at and got detention for it because apparently we weren't supposed to be in there. During PE class in year 5, I said testicles in a childish conversation with 2 friends. A fellow classmate nearby overheard me saying that and decided to dog me in. Later on, my grumpy bat of a teacher ridiculed me in front of the class. Unsurprising. Seeing as we both weren't really fond of each other,